Let me tell you something you need to hear. And you might not like how it sounds at first, but stay with me. Because sometimes the truth doesn't arrive softly. Sometimes it hits like a cold wind in the dark. Sometimes it shakes you awake because nothing else has worked. So listen closely. Nobody is coming. Nobody. Not the person you hoped would show up, not the miracle you waited on, not the sign you kept asking for. Nobody is coming to pull you out of what you're in. And the moment you let that truth land is the moment your life begins to shift. Think about the silence you've been sitting in, that quiet space where you hoped someone would hear your struggle and come running. That empty room where you waited for a knock that never came. That silence is not your enemy, but it is a mirror. It shows you what happens when your life depends on someone else's decision, someone else's energy, someone else's timing. Silence is the sound of waiting. Silence is the place where your dreams start to stall. And silence becomes dangerous when you become comfortable in it. How long have you been waiting for someone else to save you? Really think about that. How many days, months, or years have slipped through your fingers because you assumed the right person, the right moment, the right opportunity would show up and change everything? How many times did you tell yourself, someone will notice, someone will help me, someone will pull me out? We've all been there. Waiting feels safe. Waiting feels like hope, but hope without action becomes a slow, quiet trap. There comes a moment when hope and reality collide, and that moment can break you or build you. Reality says this: no one is required to rescue you. Everyone around you is carrying their own weight, their own storms, their own battles. People care, yes, but they can't live your life for you. And deep down, you know this. You felt it every time your plans paused because someone else didn't show up. You felt it every time your progress depended on someone else's motivation. Hope tells you someone might come. Reality tells you they won't. And between the two is where most people stay stuck. But here's what you need to understand about the sting of this truth. It is not meant to break you. It is meant to wake you. It's not meant to make you feel alone. It's meant to make you feel powerful. When you stop waiting for someone to save you, you finally learn that you were never powerless. You were never stuck. You were simply handing away the responsibility that was always yours to hold. Yes, the truth hurts, but pain is often the front door to growth. Pain is a teacher. Pain is the thing that pushes you out of the cage you built for yourself. And here's the real turning point. Your life begins the second you stop waiting. The moment you say enough. If change is going to happen, it starts with me. Everything shifts. That is the moment you stop being a passenger and start becoming the driver. That is the moment you stop surviving and start building. That is the moment you stop hoping for someone else to act and start moving with purpose. Nobody is coming, but that doesn't mean you're alone. It means you are finally in charge. And when you realize that, truly realize it, the silence that once held you becomes the space where you rise. There's a reason so many people fall into the trap of waiting. Waiting feels easier. Waiting feels safer. Waiting feels like someone else will eventually carry the heavy part for you. And let's be honest, there's a strange comfort in believing that someone out there will make your life easier. Your mind loves that idea. It whispers, relax. Someone will give you the push you need. Someone will tell you when the right moment comes. Someone will lift you when you fall. But that comfort is a lie, a soft, warm lie that keeps you still while your life keeps moving. We wait because it feels less risky than stepping out on our own. We wait because we think starting alone means failing alone. We wait because we'd rather believe that life will happen for us than admit we need to take control. And that waiting becomes a habit that drains years without asking permission. Think about it. How many times have you paused your life because you were hoping for the perfect moment? How many chances slipped away because you kept saying, not yet, maybe tomorrow, maybe later? Moments don't return. Time doesn't recycle. The longer you delay, the smaller your world becomes. Picture this. Life is a locked door, the kind you can't see through, the the kind that refuses to open no matter how long you stare at it. Most people sit down in front of that door and wait. They wait for someone to walk by with the key. They wait for instructions, guidance, or approval. They tell themselves, one day someone will show me the way. But here's the truth. The key has always been in your hand. You were born with it. You simply never believed it was yours to use. Waiting at that locked door won't open it. Standing up, taking the key, and turning the lock will. And life doesn't stay still while you're sitting there. Life keeps moving, with or without you. When you don't take action, inactivity takes action on you. When you don't make a choice, that is still a choice. When you don't move forward, you automatically drift backward. That's how life works. You either lift your life or your life slowly collapses under its own weight. Inactivity is not neutral. It is destructive. It chips away at your ambition, your confidence, and your belief in yourself. Every day you don't move, something inside you grows weaker. So ask yourself this: what has waiting cost you so far? Think about the opportunities you saw but didn't reach for. Think about the goals you started but never finished. Think about the moments where you knew exactly what you wanted to do, but the fear of starting kept you frozen. Waiting doesn't just steal time. It steals growth. It steals courage. It steals the version of you that you could have already become. This is not about guilt. It's about awareness. You need to see the cost so you can stop paying it. And what about the dreams you once held? The dreams that felt alive inside you. The dreams you talked about with passion. The dreams you thought you ought to be living by now. How many of those dreams have faded because you sat still too long? Waiting didn't protect them. It buried them. But here's the good news. Those dreams are not gone. They're dormant, not dead. They've been sitting inside you, waiting not for someone else, but for you. Waiting for you to stand up. Waiting for you to decide. Waiting for you to finally say, I'm done waiting. I'm ready. Waiting is a trap, but now you see the bars. And once you see the bars, you can break them. Your life won't change because you hope it will. It will change because you move. The key is in your hand. The door is in front of you. The time is now. There comes a moment in life when you have to face a truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. People are not ignoring you. They're not abandoning you. They're not failing you. They are simply trying to survive their own battles. Every person you know is fighting something you cannot see. And when you finally understand that, you stop expecting the world to pause for your pain. You stop believing that someone else should carry your weight. You stop assuming that your life is someone else's responsibility. That realization may feel harsh, but it's real. And real is what sets you free. Think about it. Everyone you meet is climbing their own mountain. And every mountain is different. Some are climbing with broken hearts. Some are climbing with financial pressure. Some are climbing with family problems, insecurity, fear, or past mistakes weighing them down like stones. Everyone has a heavy backpack strapped to their shoulders. And no matter how much they care about you, they cannot climb your mountain for you. They can cheer you on, they can encourage you, they can love you, but they cannot walk your steps. They cannot live your life. They cannot fight your fight. That's your job. And once you understand that, something inside you shifts. You stop waiting for someone to push you forward. You stop expecting someone else to hand you the life you want. You stop placing the responsibility for your happiness on people who are trying to find their own. Because expecting a rescue creates disappointment. Expecting someone else to fix your life creates entitlement. And entitlement kills growth. When you believe the world owes you something, you stop giving your best. You stop trying. You stop becoming. But when you take back responsibility, you take back power. Say this to yourself: your life, your future, your responsibility. Let those words settle. Say them again. Your life, your future, your responsibility. That repetition is not just a reminder. It is a contract, a commitment, a promise you make to yourself. Because the moment you accept responsibility is the moment you regain control. Responsibility is not punishment. Responsibility is power. When the results of your life fall on your shoulders, you finally have the strength to shape them. Think about the times you blame circumstances, people, or timing for where you are. Think about the energy that took. Blame feels good for a moment. It gives you a place to point. It gives you an excuse. But blame keeps you stuck. It keeps you powerless. It keeps you repeating the same patterns because you never claimed the authority to change them. But when you stop pointing outward and start looking inward, everything begins to shift. You realize the power you lost was the power you gave away. And here's the twist that turns everything around. Your destiny has never been in anyone's hands but your own. Not your parents, not your friends, not the system, not luck, not chance. Your life has always belonged to you. You are the one who decides how far you go. You are the one who decides how hard you push. You are the one who decides what story you write. And once you recognize that nobody owes you anything, you become unstoppable because you stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for support. You stop waiting for the world to choose you. You choose yourself. This is your reality check. The truth that wakes you up. People may walk beside you, but they cannot walk for you. People may support you, but they cannot save you. And that's not a reason to feel defeated. That is the greatest reason to rise. Because if your future is in your hands, then nothing is out of reach. The power is yours. It always has been. There is a voice inside you that you know all too well. It's the quiet whisper that says, maybe someone will help you. Maybe someone will fix this for you. Maybe you won't have to do the hard thing. That voice sounds gentle, even comforting. But let me tell you something. That voice is not your friend. That voice is the part of you that wants the easy way out. The part that wants life to bend while you stay still. And if you listen to it, it will keep you stuck exactly where you are. You have to understand what you're up against. Your brain is wired to protect you from discomfort. It is designed to avoid pain, to avoid effort, to avoid anything that feels unfamiliar. Your brain loves the comfort zone because it feels safe. But safe does not build you. Safe does not challenge you. Safe does not transform you into the person you want to become. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it steals your future. Growth, on the other hand, feels hard in the moment, but gives you life. And every single day, you are caught between those two forces. Think of that inner voice like an uninvited roommate living in your head. One who talks you out of your potential. One who tells you to stay in bed a little longer. One who says, start tomorrow, even though tomorrow's never done anything for you. That roommate loves excuses. That roommate loves delays. That roommate loves convincing you that you are tired, unprepared, or not ready. And the more you listen, the louder it gets. But here's the truth. That roommate isn't real. It's a habit, a pattern, a survival instinct that overstayed its welcome. Every breakthrough you want is on the other side of resisting that voice. And you know this because you felt the difference. Think about the times you pushed yourself even when you didn't feel like it. Think about the times you took action even when the excuses were screaming at you. Didn't you feel stronger afterward? Didn't you feel proud? Didn't you feel more alive? Compare that to the times you gave in and stayed comfortable. How did you feel then? Disappointed, frustrated, angry with yourself. You see the pattern. You've lived it. So let me ask you something. How many times has that voice stopped you from taking the first step? How many opportunities slipped through your fingers because that inner whisper convinced you that you weren't ready? How many goals have you postponed because that voice told you it would be easier later? Every time you listen to that voice, you hand it control. You give away your strength. You give away your choices. But the moment you challenge it, the moment you push back, the moment you say, not today, everything starts to change. You cannot negotiate with your weakness. You cannot have conversations with the part of you that fears effort. You cannot take advice from the voice that wants to protect your comfort more than your future. When it tells you to slow down, push harder. When it tells you to quit, take another step. When it tells you that you can't, prove it wrong. This is how you grow. This is how you build a version of yourself that doesn't crumble at the first sign of resistance. And here is the truth you need to carry with you. The battle inside you is the most important battle you will ever fight. Because once you learn to lead yourself, the world can no longer stop you. Once you learn to silence the voice that holds you back, you become unstoppable. Once you choose growth over comfort, excuses lose their power. You are stronger than the voice that doubts you. You are stronger than the part of you that wants the easy way. And every time you take action when it's easier to stand still, you win. You rise. You grow. There is a moment in every person's life when they finally understand what ownership really means. And when that moment hits, everything changes. Ownership is not just accepting responsibility. Ownership is the doorway to every change you want, every goal you chase, every dream you've buried and hope to revive. Ownership is the moment you look at your life without excuses and without blame and say, this is mine, all of it. The wins, the losses, the choices, the consequences. And if I want a different result, I have to create it. For too long, many people live their lives in the passenger seat. They let life take them wherever it wants. They let circumstances steer. They let fear press the brakes. They let other people grab the wheel. But let me tell you something. You cannot reach your destination by sitting on the side. If your life is a car, it's time to stop staring out the window. It's time to stop drifting. It's time to stop waiting for someone else to drive. You get in the driver's seat by choice. You take control by action. You move forward by deciding that your future deserves your hands on the wheel. Ownership begins with 4 simple but life-changing steps. The first step is accepting reality, not sugarcoating it, not denying it, not running from it. Reality is the starting line of every transformation. The second step is claiming responsibility, not fault responsibility. Fault looks backward, responsibility looks forward. The third step is redirecting your energy. All the time you spent blaming, hoping, or waiting gets poured back into action. The fourth step is simple. Move. Even if you move slowly, even if the steps feel uncomfortable, every inch forward builds momentum. And that's why the words no blame, no waiting, no excuses matter. Repeat them until they become a part of you. No blame, because blame keeps you powerless. No waiting, because waiting steals time you'll never get back. No excuses, because excuses are the walls you build around your own potential. Say it again. No blame, no waiting, no excuses. This is not just a phrase. It's a standard, a new identity, a declaration that your life will no longer be controlled by anything weaker than your own will. Here's the beauty of ownership. When you own your life, you own your power. You stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances. You stop letting fear decide for you. You stop living on autopilot. Suddenly, you realize that your choices matter. Your habits matter. Your mindset matters. And because it matters, you start showing up differently. You start acting like someone whose life is worth leading. And that shift alone can take a person from lost to driven, from stuck to unstoppable. Think about any area of your life: fitness, finances, relationships, purpose. In every one of those spaces, people who wait always lose to people who act. The person who waits for motivation is defeated by the one who shows up without it. The person who waits for the perfect time is outrun by the one who starts before they feel ready. The person who waits for someone else to initiate the change will always fall behind the one who takes the first step themselves. Waiting creates distance. Action closes it. Look around at the people you admire, the ones who built something, changed something, achieved something. None of them got there by waiting for perfect timing or guaranteed success. They stepped into ownership long before the results showed up. They chose responsibility over excuses. They chose action over fear. They chose leadership over comfort. That's why they moved forward. And now it's your turn. You can keep waiting for life to shift on its own, or you can decide that you're done handing over the keys. You can stay in the passenger seat, or you can take control. You can blame the world, or you can build your world. Ownership is the beginning of every breakthrough you've been searching for. Stand up, Take the wheel. Drive toward the life you want. There are moments in life when you look around and realize something painful. No one is checking in on you. No one is asking how you're holding up. No one is offering a hand, a push, or a lifeline. And in those moments, the silence can feel personal. It can feel like the world forgot you. But let me tell you something that will change the way you see those moments forever. These are the moments that shape you. These are the moments that build you. These are the moments that define the strength you didn't even know you had. People won't always ask if you're okay, not because they don't care, but because they're fighting their own storms. Support may not show up when you need it most, not because you're invisible, but because everyone is trying to keep their own life together. Encouragement might not appear when you feel weakest, not because you don't matter, but because people are often unaware of how heavy your world feels. And as harsh as that reality can be, it carries a powerful lesson. You must learn to rise, even when no one is watching. Strength is not built under bright lights. Strength is not built when the world is clapping for you. Strength is built in the shadows, in the quiet hours, in the unnoticed battles. Strength is built when you push yourself to get up, even though you can stay down and no one would blame you. Strength is what grows in the dark, long before anyone sees you shine. And that's why these lonely seasons matter. They build a version of you who cannot be broken by circumstances or abandoned by support. Think about a seed buried underground. Before it grows, before it breaks the surface, before it becomes anything beautiful, it sits alone in the dark. No applause, no encouragement, no audience, just pressure, dirt, and silence. But that silence doesn't stop the seed. The seed grows anyway. The seed pushes anyway. The seed rises anyway. That's you. That's what you're capable of. You are growing in places no one sees yet. And the absence of recognition does not mean the absence of progress. Resilience is born in the moments when you choose yourself, when you motivate yourself, when you discipline yourself. Self-motivation isn't about hype. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when the fire inside you feels small. Self-discipline isn't about perfection. It's about keeping your word to yourself. Self-rescue isn't about pride. It's about understanding that you are capable of carrying yourself forward even when the world feels heavy. You must learn to say, I will get up even when no one sees me. I will rise even when no one cheers. I will keep going even when nobody claps. Repeat those words. Every time you get up without witnesses, you get stronger. Every time you push without applause, you grow deeper roots. Every time you move forward without a spotlight, you become more resilient than anyone realizes. Look back at your life. Think about the hardest moments you've survived. Many of those battles were fought alone. Maybe no one noticed your silent tears. Maybe no one saw the nights you stayed awake worrying. Maybe no one recognized the effort it took just to show up the next day, yet you made it through. You kept going. You kept moving forward, and that proves something important. You don't need constant support to rise. You need commitment. You need courage. You need you. The most powerful version of yourself is built in the seasons when you have no choice but to depend on your own strength. Because when you can rise without applause, you can rise anywhere. When you can move without help, you can move through anything. And when you learn to stand on your own, you become the kind of person who never breaks when the world goes quiet. This is not the season where you fall apart. This is the season where you rise on your own terms. There comes a point in your journey where you stop looking around and finally look within. And in that moment, you realize something life-changing. You can become the hero you kept waiting for. You don't need someone to pull you out. You don't need someone to rescue you from your struggle. You don't need someone to lift you every time you fall. You have the strength to do it yourself. Becoming your own hero is not about ego. It's about responsibility. It's about rising because you decided your story deserves a fighter, not a victim. But what does it actually mean to become the you who doesn't need saving? It means you start developing the traits of someone who leads themselves. You become a self-starter, the kind of person who doesn't wait for motivation to knock. You become a self-truster, the kind of person who believes their decisions matter. and you become a self-builder, the kind of person who doesn't just dream of a better life, but works brick by brick to create it. Heroes aren't born with guarantees. They're built through choices. And that brings us to one of the most powerful truths you'll ever hear. You are rebuilding yourself every day, brick by brick, step by step, thought by thought. You rebuild the version of yourself that fear buried. You rebuild the confidence doubt tried to destroy. You rebuild the spark life tried to dim. This rebuilding isn't loud. It isn't glamorous. It isn't something people clap for, but it's real. And every small improvement, every hard decision, every uncomfortable step is another brick in the foundation of your new life. Now imagine something with me. Imagine who you would become if you stopped waiting. Imagine who you would be right now if you had taken action every time you felt the urge to wait for someone else. Imagine the strength you would have built. Imagine the goals you would have reached. Imagine the confidence you feel every morning knowing you built your life with your own hands. That version of you is still possible, it's still waiting, but it won't come from hesitation. It comes from creation. So stand up, step forward, take command. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need permission. What you need is movement. You need to show yourself that you can lead your life, not just survive it. Each step you take when fear tells you to stop is a step toward becoming who you were meant to be. Each decision you make without waiting for approval is a declaration of strength. Each time you bet on yourself, you rewrite the story of your past. But let's be honest, the reason you haven't stepped into your power yet isn't because you're weak. It's because you're carrying pain. You're carrying setbacks. You're carrying moments where life hit harder than you expected. That pain can make you hesitate. That pain can make you doubt. But that pain can also become your fuel. Turning pain into purpose is not a cliche, it's a transformation. It's what happens when you refuse to let your past define your next steps. Your bruises become your lessons. Your setbacks become your tools. Your struggles become your strength. Think about every painful moment you've survived. Those moments didn't break you. They prepared you. They sharpened you. They taught you resilience. They taught you compassion. They taught you endurance. You didn't go through all of that just to stay the same. You went through it to evolve, to rise, to build the version of yourself who doesn't crumble under pressure. Becoming the you who doesn't need saving doesn't mean you never fall again. It means when you fall, you get back up faster. It means when you're hurt, you heal stronger. It means when you're scared, you move anyway. That is the turning point. The moment you stop waiting for rescue and realize you are the rescue. The moment you stop hoping for a hero and become one, this is your rise. This is your transformation. This is the moment you build the you who leads, who believes, who conquers. Every big change in your life starts with something small. People think transformation comes from massive actions, huge leaps, life-changing decisions. But the truth is far simpler. Small steps, tiny steps are what build giants over time. You don't become stronger overnight. You don't become disciplined in a week. You don't become confident because of one breakthrough moment. You become all of that through small moves, repeated again and again, even when they feel insignificant. The things that seem small today become the foundation of everything you want tomorrow. Think about this. Every action is a seed. What you choose to do is planting something. And seeds don't stay small. They grow, they multiply, they shape the landscape of your life. When you choose discipline, you plant strength. When you choose progress, you plant momentum. When you choose effort, you plant results. But when you choose avoidance, hesitation, or procrastination, you plant weeds. You plant doubt. You plant regret. Your daily actions are creating your future, whether you see it or not. Your life is a garden, and what you plant is what you will harvest. One of the greatest challenges people face is showing up on the days when they don't feel strong. It's easy to move when motivation is high, when the sun is shining, when life feels light, but real growth happens on the days when everything in you wants to slow down. The days when your energy is low, The days when your excuses sound believable. The days when life feels heavy. Let me tell you something important. Showing up on those days is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. You don't need to feel powerful to take a step. You just need to take it. Ask yourself a simple question. What if you just did one thing today that moves you forward? Not 20 things, not a perfect plan, just one thing. One page written, one workout started, one message sent, one application submitted, one step taken. People get overwhelmed because they look at the entire staircase. They forget that all movement starts with one step. And here's the truth most people overlook. One step is infinitely more powerful than 0 steps. One step builds momentum. 0 steps builds nothing. Imagine 2 people standing side by side. One takes a tiny step forward. The other stands still. At first, the difference is barely visible. But after 100 steps, after 1,000, the gap becomes a canyon. That's what happens in life. The people who move even a little bit every day end up miles ahead of those who wait for the perfect moment. 1% better daily beats 100% effort once a year. Tiny effort versus 0 effort. That is the biggest difference between staying stuck and moving forward. Momentum doesn't start loud. Momentum doesn't start dramatic. Momentum begins with one choice. One decision to move instead of freeze. One decision to try instead of doubt. One decision to start instead of stall. That first step is the spark. And here's what's magical about it. The moment you take one step, the next one becomes easier. You start proving to yourself that you can change. You start proving that action is possible. You start proving that you're capable of building the life you want. Look at anyone who has achieved something meaningful: athletes, leaders, creators, entrepreneurs. Their success wasn't built on one massive action. It was built on small habits done daily. Waking up early, practicing when they were tired, showing up when no one clapped, doing the work even when progress didn't show yet. They planted seeds every day, and eventually the harvest came. So here's your truth. You don't need to do everything today. You just need to do something today, because something builds movement, and movement builds you. This is how change begins. This is how discipline grows. This is how confidence forms. Small steps. Repeat it daily. That's the power that changes everything. There is a danger in waiting that most people never see until it's too late. A slow decay, a quiet erosion, a fading of strength that happens not because life is attacking you, but because you are standing still. Doing nothing does not protect you. Doing nothing does not keep you safe. Doing nothing is not neutral. When you stop moving, when you stop pushing, when you stop trying, something inside you begins to shrink. Your confidence fades. Your discipline weakens. Your belief in yourself starts slipping away piece by piece. Stagnation is not a pause. It is a decline. Think about what happens when someone leaves a house abandoned. No storms hit it. No disaster tears it down. Yet month by month, year by year, the house crumbles. Paint chips. Wood rots. Mold creeps in. Why? Because life acts on anything that doesn't act on itself. That is exactly what happens to your potential when you stop using it. That is what happens to your dreams when you keep them locked inside instead of chasing them. Regret grows where action stops. Weakness grows where effort dies. And lost potential becomes a shadow that follows people who waited too long. You must understand the consequences clearly. Stagnation is not harmless. Regret is not small. Lost potential is not invisible. These things shape your life quietly, and they shape it deeply. When you keep waiting for someday, someday becomes never. When you promise yourself you'll start later, later becomes a graveyard of what could have been. And years from now, the worst pain you will ever feel is not the pain of failure. It is the pain of realizing you never even tried. If you don't control your life will control you. That is not a threat. It is a principle. When you don't decide where you're going, life decides for you. When you don't choose your habits choose you. When you don't take charge of your story, the world writes it for you. And the world does not care about your dreams as much as you do. If you fail to take control, something else will. Comfort will control you. Fear will control you. Procrastination will control you. And those forces never lead you anywhere you want to be. Waiting steals more than time. Waiting steals your chances. Waiting steals your momentum. Waiting steals your life. Say it again. Waiting steals your life. Every day you spend standing still is a day you could have been growing. Every day you delay is a day you lose. And once that time is gone, you don't get it back. Life is a ticking clock. Every second you wait is a second taken away from the future you want. Waiting is a thief, one of the most dangerous thieves you will ever face, because it steals quietly. It steals slowly, and you don't notice the loss until the damage is done. But here's the part that should wake you up, not with fear, but with urgency. The future version of you is watching right now. Watching the choices you make, watching the effort you give, watching whether you rise or whether you shrink. Imagine that future version of yourself standing in front of you, stronger, wiser, proud. Or imagine the opposite, the version of you filled with regret, wishing you had moved sooner, wishing you had believed in yourself when it mattered. Today's choices shape tomorrow's chances. This is the truth you cannot escape. Everything you do now builds the life you will live later. Every step you take now becomes the road you walk later. Every decision you make today determines the opportunities you will or won't have tomorrow. You are writing your future with your present actions. The question is, what kind of future are you building? Waiting has taken enough from you. Now it's time to take something back. Your time, your momentum, your life. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not someday, not when things calm down or when life finally feels perfect. This moment, right here, right now, is the moment everything can change. And you have to feel that. You have to understand that nothing shifts until you shift. Nothing moves until you move. Nothing begins until you begin. You spend enough time thinking about it, enough time planning it, enough time hoping the right moment would show up. The right moment is here because you are here. This is your moment to move. Not later, not soon, now. Stand up, move now, start now. These aren't just commands, they are lifelines. They are the words that pull you out of your excuses and into your future. Too many people wait for a spark before they take action, but the spark is created by the action itself. You don't wait to feel strong before you move. You move and the strength appears. You don't wait to feel ready before you try. You try and readiness grows. Every time you tell yourself you'll start later, you dig a deeper hole. Every time you say you'll begin tomorrow, you build a wall around your own potential. Enough waiting, enough holding back. Start now. Nobody is coming because you are the one built for this. This isn't a message meant to scare you. It's a message meant to remind you of your power. You've been looking outside yourself for strength, for support, for motivation, but everything you need is already inside you. You have survived things you thought would break you. You have gotten back up from moments that tried to end you. You have fought battles no one knows about. You don't need someone else to rescue you. You've been rescuing yourself for years. Now it's time to do it with intention, with purpose, with belief. You are the answer to your own struggle. So ask yourself the two questions that change everything. If not now, when? If not you, then who? These aren't questions meant to be inspirational lines. They're meant to challenge you, to confront you, to make you look directly at the truth you've been avoiding. If you don't start now, your life will look the same in a year. If you don't take the step, the opportunity fades. If you don't choose yourself, no one else will. And if you don't rise, the version of you you're meant to become never arrives. Waiting does not protect your dream. It kills it slowly. Movement gives it oxygen. You are the storm you've been waiting for. You are the force that can break through the obstacles. You are the fire that can burn through the doubt. You are the power that can rewrite your entire story. Stop waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. Become the lightning. Become the energy. Become the thing that shakes the ground beneath your own feet. You don't need perfect circumstances to make a move. You need courage. You need willingness. You need one step, one choice, one moment of bravery. And that moment is now. Step into the life you're meant to lead. Not the life you settled for. Not the life you've been surviving. The life you choose. The life you build. The life that reflects your strength, your growth, your fire. You've been waiting for a sign. You've been waiting for certainty. You've been waiting for something to push you. But the truth is simple. You are the push. You are the sign. You are the beginning of everything you want. This is your time. Your rise. Your breakthrough. Your turning point. Choose movement. Choose action. Choose yourself. Because once you take the first step, nothing can stop the momentum that follows. Your next chapter begins the moment you decide it does. And that moment is right now.